Covering news where you live, this is 5 News.
Hey, thank you so much for joining us. We have the top headlines where you live. I'm Tiffany Lee. Let's get you caught up on what's going on around our area. Governor Sarah Huckabee Sanders is putting her stamp on the Protect Arkansas Act. It's her signature prison sentencing reform plan. Under the 132-page plan, people found guilty of some of the most violent crimes would no longer have the option for parole. Nearly all convicted felons will also have stricter parole requirements.
It's no mistake that Arkansas has one of the highest violent crime rates in America. In a moment, the legislation I sign will put an end to that failed status quo. No more revolving door in our prisons, and no more weak sentencing, and no more unsafe streets.
Because many jails in Arkansas are overcrowded, the Protect Arkansas Act also calls for more prison space with a price tag of $470 million. The governor also says that she plans to direct millions more to bring more corrections staff to Arkansas. In the meantime, Governor Sanders plans to visit Wynne, Arkansas today. She'll be welcoming back students for the first time since the deadly tornado outbreak nearly 2 weeks ago. Wynne was one of the hardest hit areas during Friday's storms and canceled classes as the town started to recover. 4 people died in Wynne and nearly 30 others were hurt. A couple of the district's buildings received damage, but the high school was hit the hardest during that tornado. The governor's office says that after welcoming students back to school, she'll head back to Little Rock and deliver brief remarks at a benefit concert for those that were impacted by the tornado. And now let's get a check of the weather with meteorologist Zach Scott.
Hey, Tiffany, got another nice spring day here. I know you're excited about this one. We've got 70s to near 80 degrees. You're going to be moving into the forecast today. Upper 70s to around 80 for the River Valley, mid to upper 70s, northwest Arkansas. Plenty of sunshine. We've got a south wind about 5 to 15 miles per hour. Northwest Arkansas, only 5 to 10 miles per hour in the River Valley. A little lighter wind the further south you go. 50s with some scatter clouds, light wind out of the south, 5 to 10 miles per hour. And then we're tracking our next rain chance coming in. A few isolated showers and a thunderstorm can't be ruled out Friday night. And then again, as we go through the day on Saturday, we'll continue to track the threat for a strong thunderstorm or two to mix in over the next few days. Tiffany?
For a second straight day, demonstrators gathered outside of the Tyson plant in Van Buren. It's set to close, leaving 900 people without a job. And the protesters that we spoke to said that they don't think the workers are being treated fairly, and they plan to protest until their demands are met. They say that they feel like Tyson isn't giving them fair severance packages after all the years they've given to the company. The plant is set to close on May 12th, and Tyson says that it plans to work with state and local groups to help any workers who don't want to relocate find new jobs. This morning, officials in Washington County are now giving the green light to start plans on a new emergency operations center. At a meeting on Tuesday night, the Quorum Court approved $1 million worth of funds from the American Rescue Plan Act for the engineering and architectural design of the center. Right now, the Washington County EOC sits in an old fire training facility in Lincoln. Emergency management officials say that the center needs an upgrade and is not only important for coordination during emergencies, but also for everyday training, meetings, and weather briefings. The next step is to discuss where the funding will come from to actually construct the center. That question should be discussed and answered at their meeting next Thursday. A Missouri-based car wash company has bought the site of AQ Chicken House in Springdale. The popular restaurant closed last month after more than 75 years in business. AQ Chicken House has been open in Springdale since 1947. The company did have another location in Fayetteville, but it closed in 2016. According to the Washington County property records, Club Car Wash paid $1.75 million for the property. The city of Fayetteville says that they're partnering with the Community Blood Center of the Ozarks to host a blood drive this Thursday. It will all be in honor of Officer Stephen Carr. Officer Carr was shot in his police cruiser on December 7, 2019, while waiting to go on his nightly patrol on Dixon Street. Now, the shooter was later shot and killed by police, and the blood drive will be held at the Fayetteville Town Center in downtown Fayetteville from 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. on Thursday. Walk-ins are welcome, but appointments are strongly encouraged. Not long ago, the Fort Smith Planning Commission wrapped up their meeting to recommend a zoning change for the mysterious Project X. It's an unnamed retail business that the developer says will bring economic development. But as 5 News reporter Micah Wilson tells us, the legality is still being questioned.
I'm concerned Cynthia Parks is just one of many who feel that way about the unnamed project possibly coming to Fort Smith.
It will affect our neighborhood, will affect our property values, and will affect whether or not people will come in.
Tuesday, they took those concerns to the Fort Smith Planning Commission.
We are looking at a request to rezone a tract of dirt, a building.
A tract of dirt that could lead to major changes in Fort Smith.
So this would be a big retail space. It would be very important for our economy. It would be almost a destination retail location.
It would be located across the street from I-540 here at the old Best Buy here on Rogers Avenue. Currently, the majority of this property is commercial heavy, but there's a small part that's not, and they're looking to make the entire thing commercial.
It just means that they could actually have retail there.
It's the traffic, the noise, what is it going to be? We don't have any information.
What we do know is Fort Smith is one of 12 cities being considered for the project. The city says it would employ 93 people with an average salary of $53,000, and that the board of directors voted in favor of a nearly $7 million incentive package to bring the project here.
They're depending on some money that the state hasn't even authorized.
According to Fort Smith City Administrator, the incentive would be split between the county and Fort Smith taxpayers. He also said the city can't legally issue an incentive like this. It would go against the Arkansas state constitution, which cites that cities cannot use taxpayer dollars to fund retail businesses.
It was going to be brought before the legislature.
According to Benny Westfall, the property owner of the project, legislation to allow for these incentives for retail businesses went before lawmakers. He says he'll have to try again in the next legislative session. In Fort Smith, covering news where you live, Michael Wilson, 5 News.
The Planning Commission did vote unanimously to rezone the entire area to a commercial-heavy property. It will now go to the Board of Directors on May 2nd for a final vote. Those are some of your top headlines on this Wednesday. We'll continue to follow the news all day long, so catch up with us again this evening on your 5 News app 4, 5, 6, and 10. I'm Tiffany Lee. Have a great day.